Morning, everyone, and welcome back to DNQ. Just me today. Tom is on yet another holiday. Um, this morning, we're talking about a tournament that I'm going to hold my hands up. I didn't know existed. I really didn't know much about. We had a comment on one of our videos this week saying, "Guys, you gonna do a video on the King's Cup or anything like that?" And then straight on Google to discover what this tournament was, what it was all about. So that is what today's video is about. It's about the King's Cup, the Thailand King's Cup. And today, the day of recording, it is the 25th of September. It is the semi-final and the final day. And it felt like the perfect time to do a quick video on, I guess, kind of for those that don't know about this tournament, a few kind of headline facts on it. Who competes, who's competing this year, and what this year's tournament has had in store so far. So the tournament, it's made up of just 4 teams every single year. And Thailand is always one of the 4. Obviously, they're the hosts. It's been running since 1968, so for 54 years. And as I said, it runs every year. There's only been a handful of years that it's not taken place across that time. And they essentially, Thailand are the hosts, and they every year will invite 3 other teams to participate. And these other teams typically change every year. And it was when we saw the YouTube comment. It was when we first did some investigative work into it. It was like, this is such a cool. Do enough people know about this tournament? More people should know about this tournament. The teams that they pulled together for this kind of round robin-esque invitational stuff, it's so cool. So the array of participants, I'm just going to rattle some names off kind of from years gone by. So 2018, Gabon. In 2018, they also welcomed Slovakia. 2019, Curacao, who won it. 2017, Burkina Faso. In 2015, the Honduras under-20s took part. In 2005, Latvia were there. In 1999, I love this fact. In 1999, the Brazil under-20s team participated. And within that under-20 squad were some of the headline names that then went on to win the 2002 World Cup. Ronaldinho played in this tournament alongside Cafu, Roberto Carlos, Rivaldo. The 2004 tournament, for example, saw Thailand host Slovakia, Hungary, and Estonia. So it just, I don't know, if you're just a passionate fan about kind of international football and kind of teams from around the world playing against each other, then this is so up your street. This is bang up my street. I absolutely love it. Now, we're solely about minnow nations here on D&Q, aren't we? And whilst these nations aren't necessarily minnow, they're kind of low enough down the rankings for us to definitely throw a video out there. Now, Thailand, having kind of participated in every single version, every single edition of the tournament, have won it more than any other nation, of course, but they've only won it 14 times, I think. The team that's won it second most is South Korea, who have won it 7 times, and Malaysia have won it 4 times. And they're competing in this year's tournament alongside Thailand, Trinidad and Tobago, and Tajikistan. If I go back to my other point there about kind of it not being minnow nation, or kind of there being low enough down the rankings for us to talk about it, this year's sort of quartet that are taking part really kind of sum that up. You've got the hosts, Thailand ranked 111. You've got Tajikistan 108, you've got Trinidad and Tobago at 101, and the lowest ranked side, Malaysia, a team that we've spoken about quite a bit on the channel, ranked 147. Now, this year's tournament, so those are the 4 teams that are participating. This year's tournament, we've already sort of missed the match day, if you will. So we are straight on, we're kind of recording this just before the semi-final and final take place today. The first kind of match day of the tournament took place on the 22nd, where Trinidad and Tobago were drawn against Tajikistan, and Tajikistan won that game 2-1. Trinidad took a fairly early lead through Garcia, and a couple of late goals from Tajikistan saw them go through to the final. in the other game, Thailand, the hosts, I guess from their side of things, they looked at it and thought that they probably had the better draw. They were drawn against Malaysia, and the game was drawn 1-1, tied 1-1 rather. But Malaysia actually came out winners on penalties. One of Tom's sort of favourite Minnow Nation players, Corbinong, scored what was a cracking little opener actually at the back post. Safari received with a ball to the back, Corbinong. Great volley at the back stick, and then a 95th minute leveller for Thailand. Saw the game go straight to penalties. And Malaysia came out on top. So that's kind of how the first game, how the first games played out. So you now have today. Sorry, actually, I've been calling it. Sorry, I've got my words wrong there, haven't I? I've called it a semi-final and a final. It's totally wrong. It's a final and it's a third and fourth place playoff. That is what's happening today. You can tell that this tournament's so new to me. I'm not getting my words out correctly. So we kind of have that. So the first day, those results that I've just spoken about, that's the semi-final. And what we've got today is the third and fourth place playoff and the final. So you've got Trinidad and Tobago that are taking on the host Thailand in that third and fourth place playoff, and then Tajikistan take on Malaysia in the final. And now I'm not going to go into too much detail around previewing the games into a huge amount of detail. Before hopping on, I looked at the squads for all of the sides, and it's clear that each national team has brought a very, very solid squad for this, that every team is taking it very, very seriously. It's clearly a tournament that is held in decent regard across the international sphere. The Trinidad and Tobago head coach before the tournament said that it's a really good opportunity for them to build on their recent good form in the CONCACAF Nations League and kind of continue to build team cohesion ahead of Gold Cup and 2026 World Cup qualifying. So that kind of paints enough of a picture for me as to like, wow, they must be taking this seriously. And the squads that they've all brought really do reflect that. I was surprised that Trinidad and Tobago came sort of, lost their lead and ended up being defeated by Tajikistan. And I see them probably beating Thailand in that third and fourth place playoff, just because I think I don't know. I think they've got slightly better players, and I can see maybe home territory kind of being at home will help the Thailand side, but I see Trinidad and Tobago edging that third and fourth place playoff. In the final, I do see Tajikistan overcoming the lowest ranked side in this quartet, Malaysia. I think they'll win that game and win the tournament. But it's like, this kind of video maybe isn't necessarily about previewing the kind of the granular details of each of those games. It was more kind of shining a light on these tournaments and these teams, and it's kind of what the channel's all about. So when we heard about it, when we looked into it, it was like, this tournament needs to be, we need to do a video, we need to shine a bit of a spotlight on it. So that's what I'm kind of trying to do in what probably is a little bit of a mishmash of a video here. But the King's Cup third and fourth place playoff and final all taking place today. Keep an eye out on those scores. We'll probably post about them on the DNQ Twitter page. If you've made it this far into what is a little bit of a hopscotch of a video, as I'm kind of cobbling together some of the stuff that I found out about this tournament to share with you all. If you've made it this far, drop a like and drop a comment. And I'd recommend, if you haven't heard of this tournament before, do a little bit of Googling, have a little look at some of the previous editions and some of the teams that have taken place and some of the quite incredibly passionate fixtures that have happened kind of through this tournament. It really, really is fascinating. I didn't know it took place every year, and kind of we're going to have this stamped in our DNQ calendar from now on. Really, really looking forward to seeing how the games go today, how it all plays out, but then seeing who they invite kind of next year and the year after. Really, yeah. I'm quite sort of nerdily into this small tournament. It looks really, really fantastic. But as I said, that's all from us today. Looking forward to the games today. We may do a little bit of a follow-up after watching the third and fourth place playoff and the final today. Probably the early part of next weekend might kind of come back with a bit more of a structured video. But I just felt the need to kind of showcase this before these games take place today. But yeah, as I said, drop a like if you're new around here. Give us a subscribe, and we will see you next time.